Welcome to another shop update. This may be a little bit confusing to some of you. I do some hauls for some people, and they can be very confusing hauls sometimes. Things could change 4, 5, 6 different times by the time that I get the trailer hooked up and on the road. So this is kind of where this video is going. I started out the journey to Minnesota, going to be taking one genset, and it ended up being a bunch of other ones too. So just bear with me, but it'll all be explained out. Okay, so this is going to be a shop update. I'm in here in the shop on Saturday. I have to make a haul, so let me explain to you a little bit about it. You know the bed off of the metal planer that I picked up in Georgia and brought back, but has to go to Wisconsin. Okay, so a guy called me up and he says, listen, I want to buy a genset that's in Ohio. Is there any possibility that you could pick that up for me and bring it up to me in Minnesota? And I says, yeah, because I do have that thing in the shop that's got to go to Wisconsin. So he says, great. So he called me back and he says, yeah, I made the deal on the thing. So if you could pick it up for me, that would be great. And so that's kind of what I was planning on. He gave me the contact guy in Ohio. The contact guy in Ohio has a forklift, but he's going to be losing it Wednesday of next week. So I had to pick it up before Wednesday. So I called him up and made arrangements to pick it up Tuesday morning from him in Ohio, and then I would take it up to Minnesota. So the guy in Minnesota calls me back and he says, hey, I've got 2 more gensets. One is near you. Can you bring them with you? And the other one is the guy in Ohio has another one that I've purchased off of him too. So what I've got is 3 gensets and this planer bed that have to go to Minnesota, and the planer bed's got to go to Wisconsin. So I've got the genset on the trailer. What I'm going to do is start loading these 2 things up together, and then when I get to Ohio, I can put the 2 gensets from Ohio onto the back of the trailer. So let me probably just going to take you out there, give you a brief view of the trailer. I know the guy that I had already picked the genset up that was near me, and I picked it up this morning. And let me shut you off and I'll take you out to the trailer and we'll discuss it. Okay, so I'm out here in the trailer. What I had to do is I went this morning and picked up this genset from the guy that I know. The guy in Minnesota has dealt with him before, so he bought this generator set off of him. Now, this generator set came from just north of New York City. I actually picked it up and brought it back to the guy here, and now he sold it and I'm going to be taking it to Minnesota. So what my plans are is I'm going to get the forklift and reposition this. I just went out and picked it up this morning. The place that I had to pick it up is about 40 miles away. I went out and picked it up. Okay, the gimbal died. So let's start out from where you were looking at my feet. I went out this morning and picked this thing up. Again, this is Saturday. So what I'm going to do is get the forklift and reposition this onto this side, driver's side, and bring out the planer bed and put that on the other side of it, so it kind of equalizes out on weight. Probably that planer bed is a little heavier than this gen set. So what I'll do is bring that over closer to the side here, maybe a little forward too, and position the other one more towards the center and back a little bit. But let me get them set. I'll bring you back. I'm kind of showing you this from a distance because the trailer's sitting pretty level. The parking lot is sloped towards your left, so of course the trailer's going to be sloped to your left, but I've got it fairly good. What I did is move the generator over. I put a couple of boards on it, so I ran the chains both through the generator and the bed of the planer. That kind of worked out fairly good. And then what I did is I put boards on it. So when I brought the planer back from Georgia, I had a little bit of an issue. I had put it on wood. It was actually that wood that's laying right there. And that wood, for some reason, slid on the deck of the trailer. I didn't have chains on the planer bed. I had put straps on it, and I had also put edge protectors on it. And for some reason, the wood and the planer slipped over. So now what I've got is the planer, the bed. No, let's call this the bed. This is the housing. Let's call that the housing because the bed actually sits up here. But I got the two of them bolted together. The other problem that I had when I came back from Georgia is it was sitting like this, and this top piece skidded back and forth on top of the bed because that bed is fairly smooth. Not as smooth as it's going to be, but it's fairly smooth. But I bolted it in, bolted the two pieces together using a couple of 1/2-inch bolts just so that it wouldn't go anyplace. But that's that. The strap is just to hold that exhaust down. Sometimes those exhausts aren't meant to be, they're designed anchor points to be sturdy on top of the thing. They're not designed to be sturdy at 70 miles an hour going down the road. So, and it's an older unit, and so I put the strap over the top of it just to anchor it down. Okay, for you guys that are new to the channel because of Adam's plug on when I delivered that metal planer to Lance, and Adam was there. Adam posted a video, kind of plugged my channel, gave him an email in case anybody needs some stuff hauled. But anyways, let me just interject something here. I started showing you that metal planer base that's on the floor, and you're probably kind of wondering, another metal planer? Well, yeah, it is. When I delivered that metal planer to Lance, he asked me if I had a backhaul. And I told him no, that I didn't have a backhaul out of Florida coming back up to New York. So he says, Mike Wiggins has got a planer that he bought too, that he's got to get up to Cash Masters and have him grind the beds and ways. He says, you want me to contact him and see if he wants you to take it? And I told him, give him a call, find out what's going on with it, and we can go from there. But anyways, so that's what happened. On the way back up from Lance's place, passing through Georgia, I stopped at Mike Wiggins and I picked up the bed and the base or ways off of for the bed, and told him that what I would do is bring it back up and leave it in my shop, and the next time that I went over towards Minnesota, I could drop it off for him at Cash's place in Wisconsin. So that's exactly what I did. I was just showing you the drill bit. These are tapered drill bits. They start at over ½ inch, just over ½ inch. They go by 64ths. So that's 33/64 is the first one. And it goes up to 3 inch. I think 3 inch is the biggest one that I have. Oh, no, the 3 inches in here is the 3 inches, I think, over some other place. But anyways, I was just showing it to you. I picked that up in an auction recently. Well, when I say recently, for those viewers of you that are new, it was kind of recent. For longtime viewers, it was probably 3 months ago. There's that 3 inch bit. My tub that I use for Evaporust has two issues. The tub's not big enough to get the bit into, and there wasn't enough Evaporust in it to cover it either. So I need to get a bigger tub, more Evaporust. It's part of a little shop update. I'm just showing this to you. I had a guy's truck in here and helped him replace the brakes on the back of the truck. Turned out to be a task because two of the rotors were bad and on the back, and well, there's only two rotors on the back to begin with, but the two rotors on the back were bad and he had to get the rotor off. But taking the rotor off on a Dodge truck involves, part of the rotor is a drum for the parking brake. And what happened is the parking brake hung up on that drum, and when we pulled it off, we kind of pulled the parking brake off on the one side too. We were able to get it back together, but one of the other things that we had to do was he wanted to cut his exhaust off, shorten it up, and we kind of shortened it up. This is a hump that goes up over the rear axle, and we shortened it up out of the truck and then kind of made a downward shooting tube that would force the exhaust gases down towards the road instead of back onto the back of the underside of the truck. But I told him he was going to throw the scrap pipe in the back of his truck and just scrap it. I told him to leave it because the 5-inch pipe I will be able to use to kind of like test fit how the exhaust piping is going to run in the haul truck. It's always nice to have a piece of the actual size piping to kind of relate it, get it up there, or just stick it into where it's going to go so that you can kind of figure out exactly how much clearance you have around the piping, etc., etc. But anyways, I just wanted to show you that. Just as part of a shop update, what I'm doing is ceramic coating my truck. I get the ceramic coating from a detailer next door, and I'm doing it. Now there's a lot of prep work, and this takes a while. And then you're not really supposed to take it out for 24 hours. Just let it sit and cure. Prep work is you have to wash it. What I had done is a couple of weeks ago, he had brought me that detailing spray that goes over ceramic coating, and he brought me a buffer with a clay bar wheel on it. And I went through the truck and did that. So this morning, yesterday I washed it. Did the normal wash routine. Went through it with that spray afterwards to dry it off. Then when I came in here this morning, I re-washed the truck. And I have a hand clay bar. I just kind of basically went over it. Just to make sure that there wasn't anything on it. Then what you do is you dry it off with a towel after after I clay barred it. Dry it off with a towel, and then go through and alcohol. Clean the entire truck off with alcohol. And then you can start putting the ceramic coating on now. This is the brand that I'm using right here. I've used half of the bottle, and I'm probably a little more than half of the bottle, probably 3/4 of the way done with the truck. It's a suede applicator. You put the ceramic coating on this applicator, put it on, let it tack up for 1 to 2 minutes, and then wipe it off with a towel, microfiber towel. But you don't want to use the microfiber side of it. Use the back side of it, because sometimes that microfiber will lint will come off of it. Fibers will come off of it, and it will get into the ceramic coating that way. So use the back side of it. Now, ceramic coating used to be extremely expensive. A bottle like that would probably cost $400. But it's come way down in price. I'm not even sure what he's going to charge me for it. He hasn't charged me for it yet, but he says it's probably only in the neighborhood of $50 or so. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm doing. Not going to film it because it's would be like watching paint dry. But put it on everything. You put it on the plastic, put it on the bumpers, put it on the headlight covers, plastic. The only thing that you can't put it on is glass. You can't put it on glass. I did put it on the stacks too. But anyways, I'll bring you back after I'm done. Okay, so it's probably an hour or so later after I did that. Maybe a little longer than that, but it's done. I had a little bit left in it, the ceramic coating, so probably what I'm going to do is do the front of the trailer, the toolbox and stuff like that, where all the mud comes up off of the road or off of the rear of the truck and clings on there. What ceramic coating is good for is it has another layer of protection, like a clear coat, but it also facilitates getting it clean really quick. In most cases, when it gets dirty, you just have to take a hose and hose it off, and the dirt will come right off of it. But anyways, it's done. So I can't wash it. I'll take it out tomorrow. I can take it out. Can't wash it for a week. I did the wheels too. But I can't wash it for a week, and then it's just regular stuff. Wash, and I'll continue to use that ceramic coating sealant stuff. I was going to show it to you, the bottle, but I've showed it to you before, but ceramic detail spray. What I do is you just wash it with soap. I use a soap, car soap from Chemical Guys in California. It's called Pink something. Mr. Pink or something like that. Yeah, Mr. Pink. But it's foamy, real foamy. Not very abrasive soap. It's just a good mild soap. It's not for heavy dirt like road tars and stuff like that. But anyways, use that, and then I just use that ceramic detail spray and wipe it or dry it off with a rag using that detail spray. But anyways, there it is, done. I'm gonna take you out, just as this little sidebar. I'm gonna take you out. I had to, I probably told you I had to make a haul. Oh yeah, I did tell you, because I showed you pictures of the generators and stuff on there. I didn't take any more videos when I had to go to Minnesota, or when I dropped that planer bed off in Wisconsin. I didn't make any videos of it because I was hard pressed. So first of all, in Minnesota, I was in the middle of a snowstorm. So everything was frozen. All the straps and binders and everything were all frozen, and the straps I couldn't even roll up. I just had to tuck them into one of the boxes, frozen. And then I dropped the planer bed off in Wisconsin, and by the time I got down to Chicago, it had warmed up to about 42. But I had snow from Minnesota probably partway through Wisconsin. Got over to Milwaukee, and they had a little dusting of snow, but it was still kind of cold, you know, like 32-ish. But again, after I left there and was going through Chicago, it had warmed up to like 42. So the straps all thawed out inside of the box, and I'll show you what I had to go over to Michigan, just south of Detroit, and pick up some more generators. I just brought them back. I didn't take them back out to the guy in Minnesota, but that's going to be another upcoming haul. Okay, this is right after I shot the finishing of that ceramic coating. What I was talking about on this trailer is, and it's dirty because I came back from Minnesota, and as I told you, it had snowed up there. So it's dirty. But what I was talking about doing is maybe putting that ceramic coating on the front, you know, on the toolbox, on the fronts here, and this part of it. I mean, if I had enough of it, I would do the boxes, covers, and stuff like that too. But anyways, here's these generators. They're all diesel generators. There's 11 of them, and they range around, this one's 5,500 watts, 6,000. I've got to take them to Minnesota too. I picked them up in Michigan, like I had said, just below Detroit, and just brought them home with me. I told him that, you know, if he wanted to sell them, and we could just ship them out of here. But I think he's trying to make a deal on some more generators, and he would like that brought in the load. But anyways, that's it. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to get ceramic coating on that. I'll bring you back. I'm out here at the trailer. What I got was this thing, and I'll show you. It just goes in there to lock that so that it can't open and it springs down. Now what the trailer came with is one of these pins, but it had a hinged wire loop on it that would come around, and it was sprung, so you would have to pull it down and it would kind of snap back up over the end of this. But it was kind of a pain in the ass. These things are a lot easier. You just put it down through there, push it on. But it neither one of them, this one or that one, didn't have it. So what I'm going to do is put a piece of wire cable on it like that. And I've got one of my ramp pins in the back. Not really sure how it happened, but the cable broke on it that holds that secures a pin. This pin right here, and this cable broke. So what I'm going to do is just cut it off and put another one of these. They call them thimbles. I didn't know what they were. Hunting for them in the hardware store, and I finally found them, and they're called thimbles. But I'll show it to you after I'm done with it. So there it is. I just put this little piece on there. Loop it up over there or leave it in there. And then I just, on this one, cut it off and put one of those thimbles on it. Cut the old part off and just put one of those thimbles on it. Of course, it's not going to cooperate now. There. So in conclusion, and let you get out of here then, there's going to be another video coming out about the haul truck. As you can see, there's tape measures strung back to the back axle. I left you off in the last one telling you that I was going to measure it to make sure it was running parallel with the front axle, and that will be coming up pretty soon. The other thing is the notorious glow shift issue. I haven't gotten a resolution on it yet. Let me just tell you that, but there will be another video coming out about that.